welcome to the second application video for the 1-537 Reliant kit. In the first video we got all the bottom all finished up, and hopefully you guys are all caught up now. Now we're going to move around to the top. Now the one thing I said on the top is these two sections here, for some reason the grid lines, between grid lines is 2 millimeters less on these two than the rest of these. Doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's just a model kit, but you think that these would all be the same size, but in any case we caught it, so that's what we're going to do here. So you're going to be using sheet 1, and I've already gone ahead and weeded some of these. Sheet 1 and sheet 2, same way we did the bottom, only the very beginning two are these two, and that's what we show in our guideline, and that's from sheet 1. These are your two narrow ones. You can put those in, and then we can continue on with these to fill in the rest of the pattern. Now once you get to the edge ones, or where these little nodes are, we didn't cut out a mask kit for it, so I think what you need to do is probably cut out the cardboard, cut it as close as you can. I'll go over this again, and we'll just set it close, and we'll just kind of do a mark on it where we need to cut that out, and then we'll put those in place. So what we're going to do first is we're going to start off with these two pieces from sheet number 1. And the one with the E's that are the black, these are going to be the short ones again. So I'm going to cut this out. Okay. So just to double check everything, the one we're doing first, this one, number 1. So that would be the port side, just off the center. I'm going to turn this so I can see it. And same as we did before, we're just going to start at the bottom corner. Not on the grid, just inside the grid. Follow it up. Okay. Now the same on sheet 1 is the next one that's on this side here. Again, we've left the top because it's really hard to leave these little black pieces of the inside of the E without removing them. So I'm going to leave that on there. We'll remove that after we get this installed. I'm just quickly going over this again for those who have seen the video, or this is the first time they're watching. Maybe they're watching number 2 and not number 1. Okay, now I need to remove this. There we go. It's a little finicky doing it that way, but then you at least know these are in the right place. So, okay, so now I guess the rest of these are on sheet 2. So these ones that are on the top of sheet 2, that's the one with the dark E's. So these are going to be the ones that are short of the grid. The bottom ones here are the ones that we had to pull this little piece off, so that's at the top of the grid. So now you can just go ahead and do an alternate pattern around here, and then I'll come back when we get to these spots here, and I'll show you what I do for that. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got all the full sections down, and all we got to do is do the two little pieces here that cut. So now what I've done is, you notice how there's 4 pies left, or 4 sections left, and it's only 2. So you got 2 of each. Just in case we make a mistake cutting out these, then you can use the secondary one to try and make it you know, fit or fix up anything you've got wrong. So what we're going to do here is now we need to have the white E. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut as close to the mask as I can. So now you can kind of lay this in here and see where you have to trim. And it would be, I wouldn't trim right to this first edge. I would trim so your mask is actually hanging over. Then you can push your mask down on this little thing, and then you know it's not too short. So let's see what we can do here. So we're just going to go grab a pencil. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in there. Okay, so all I want to do is, like I said, I just want to go over this bump. Over this, I'm not too worried about, and going up this front edge, I have no worry with. So as long as we've got it where we just need to go trim a little bit more on this. That's all you want to do is just play around with this. I said I give you an extra one, so if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Okay. So let's grab our masking sheet. And I'm going to cut the clear because I don't want the clear to cause the mask not to sit down straight. Now if I could bring the magnifying glass in, it'd be a lot easier, but I'm going to try and do this without putting my head in the way. Just follow up one side, and then you can smooth it down. You can even use the card if you want. The card will help you kind of seat these things in little recesses. You could also always do this too once you get the clear off, but all right. So one thing that happened here is these two E's, the tops of these E's came off while I was cutting, and that's okay because we've got extra ones. So now what you can do is you can either take them both off at one at a time, because this is a spare one. Just kind of put them back in. This one just a little harder to stick because it's sitting right on top of a phaser strip or phaser bank. That will get her down. There you go. Okay, I'll get the other side on and then we'll come back and we're going to do the outside and the inner circle here. Okay, so for those of you who remember when we did the bottom, we just did all the main pattern first and then we did this one, the inner circle and the outer circle different or at a different time. So what we're going to do is we're going to do all this all at the same time. So what we need to do is we need to go to sheet 4 and pull off these two pieces. Don't weed them. I just want to install them just as they are. So sheet 4, and they're just at the top here. And just like we did the inner circle on the underside, we install this whole piece and then we weed it once it's all on. Just makes it easier for you to get it all lined up. Just cut the clear as close to the mask as you can. And we do have those gray pieces that we used on the lower hull or the underside the same way if you want to just do the main and then do this other one later too. So either way you want to do it. I'm just going to do everything at once just to show you it can be done. There's no problem getting all this done in one day. So okay, so these ones, they fit where the pretty much right along the side. Just center for this one. Let's go right around. Now get the other one. Get them both on before you weed them. Okay, so once we got these on, this is our center part. The ones in the white obviously are the ones we're going to be removing. So we're going to remove this very first one. And then every second one all the way around. There's that one. Now, sheet 5 has the outer rings. It's the same way we did the outer rings on the underside, so I will go ahead and clear these or put some clear film on it, and I'll put these on and then we'll come back. Okay, so I finished putting the outer ring in. I'll have to put it's really hard to stick over where some of these nav lights are. We'll put a little tape over that to protect that. Same way we did it before. I left these long just so I could pull this first one over, and now we can actually push them down. And we're going to paint all this the tan color. So the outer ring, the main section, and the inner ring all at once. Like I said, it wasn't that long. It probably won't take you more than an hour to put all this on there. So it's not as if it's something you can't do in one shot. But you can still do it the other way too. If you want to just do one section at a time, go ahead. It's entirely yours. If you want to do one piece at a time and leave it for a week, that's entirely up to you again. Alright, I'm going to mask all this off and then I'm going to shoot it all with the tan color, and I'll come right back. Okay, so we got everything all taped off. Had to put a little bit of tape everywhere there was a nav light. The mask just wouldn't sit down enough. We're going to go out there and shoot all the tan on this, and we'll be right back. Okay, well, we've given the top section a couple light coats of the tan. I'm just going to remove a piece here just to see if I got good stuff. Yep, got a lot of coverage. Good. I'm going to remove everything other than the outer circle. Other than the outer ring, you can remove the inner ring and all these sections here, and we'll be right back, and then we'll start on the second section, or the second pattern. Okay, so we got all the masking pulled off that was from the tan. You can see how we left the outer ring, and all this masking tape we left on because we can still utilize that. So now for the inner ring, you got to go to sheet 13, and there'll be two pieces here. And I wonder if we can we can pull up. Oh, we got some of them off. Also, I noticed once you pull this gray off and put it back down, it's a lot easier to see where all these little masks need to be weeded. And I noticed on the ship, a lot of the pattern for the second or the blue was a lot of lines. So that's why there's a lot of lines in here. And again, they're very small, and they have to be because the ship's only 1-537. It's a small ship. You can't have big pattern on a small ship. It'll look out of place. At least in my mind, it will. One more. I think that's it. Oh, one more here. Okay. So these are pretty delicate, but they can be handled. We just want to start in the... Oh, there's a piece I missed again. Start this right on the center line. There's a couple more I missed. It'll be a lot easier for you guys because if you got a magnifying lamp, you can put this right over the model. It makes it so much easier. I know I keep harping about that, but like I said, I'm trying to keep my head out of the picture for you. So those are on sheet 13. I'll get the other one on later. And all the other ones are on sheet 15. Now I went ahead and weeded these already, and you never saw me putting those down on the underside, so I'll just show you what we do with these. So again, just start on the grid and just lay it down. That's pretty much it. Grab another one. It doesn't matter which one you do. A lot of these we made pretty much different. You can put it right up to it if you want, or overlap it. And just rub it lightly. You don't have to rub it hard. All right. Well, I'll get this one on, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to replace all my black pieces or my tan pieces, and then I'll pull off the ones for blue, and then we can go ahead and shoot the blue pattern on. All right, I'll be right back. All right, well, we've got all of our masks down for the second color, or the blue, and yeah, so when I went around these, all I had to do is just make one slit here and here, and everything just lays back down pretty good. These are the gray ones are kind of like a rubber mask, so it does conform really well. Okay, well, I've covered up all the tan with these black, and then I pulled all the ones off for the blue, so I think we're ready to paint the blue on everything, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've given it a couple coats of the blue, and then we can just start taking things off and see how it's looking. Yep. So far, so good. I'm going to take this these final things off here, and then we'll show you how everything looks. Okay, well, there you go. Top of the main saucer is done. I remember when we were doing the bottom, I said I put a coat of the matte clear on here after I did the tan, and then I put the matte clear on, and then I did the blue, and everything worked out fine. I didn't get any paint lift. This side I didn't. I just did it the way we normally do it. I let the tan dry for maybe half an hour because they were really light coats. Put that gray back on and I had no paint left. So either method works, whichever one you're comfortable with. And yeah, let's continue on. We'll work on the back side here. Okay, we're going to move to the aft section of the top of the saucer. And I've got the pieces you're going to find are on sheet number 6 and sheet number 14 for the second pattern. I've already weeded everything out just so you didn't have to watch that. We're just going to place the clear on top here, and then we're just going to start either at one of these corners. And this raised area right here, there's nothing that goes on there that we can see on the model. So you got your straight line that runs down here to this point. That's what we got here. And just follow it around. It actually sits right on top of the high ridged area and follows around here. I might start here and kind of run along here. So just see how it feels and how it looks. But I'll get the clear on here and I'll come right back. Okay, well, I got my clear applied, and the only part you really have to cut close to the mask is this curve here. The rest of this you can leave it a little bit long because there's really nothing that's going to get in the way of laying the mask down. So I've got that done. Let me just see if we can pull this off. Okay. So like I said, I would start with this back corner of the raised piece, and we'll follow this curve around. And just gently place it into place right now. And then you'll see if everything falls into place. And then just rub it down slowly, and then once you've got it mostly seated, then you can go ahead and give it a good rub down. Okay. Now you can press down any of the areas that are coming up. Okay, that's that side done. I'll go ahead and get the next side on, and then we're going to move on to some other areas that we need to do along this back side. We might as well do all at once and shoot everything the tan color. All right, be right back. Okay, so we have our first pattern masking on the aft part of the top side of the main saucer. But before we go to paint, we're going to go to sheet number 6, and we're going to use these to put patterns on this side and this side. And it's just whatever one fits that angle. This is obviously your port side, starboard side is the other side. So I'll get these cleared up and put on, and I'll tape all this off, and we'll be right back. Okay, so when we're going over the movie shots. If I can get this, yeah. So this side here, this is where the first and second pattern happened. Also at the back, but didn't go past where this line is here. So that's why they're only there. So we've got these two, and the top. I'm going to mask all this off, and we're going to go and shoot our tan on it. Okay, so we're all taped off here. We're going to go and shoot our tan on the top and on the sides, and then we'll come right back and we'll have to pull all this off, and then we'll be putting the second layer on. Okay, so our tan has been applied. We're going to be moving on to our blue color. So really all you need to do is from this pinstripe line that goes around, just pull all the inner stuff off. You can leave everything else on because your gray mask will go right over that, and this way you don't have to retape all this. And unfortunately on the sides you're going to have to take those off and retape those too. So I'll do all that and I'll be right back. Okay, well, we removed all the masking, and I'm going to leave all this masking tape on. It'll just save me some time, but you can remove everything if you want and then go right to the second pattern if you wish. The second pattern, these pieces here are cut out exactly the same shape as the black ones. So where's my so right now we've left kind of the outer side of the black mask, and then right next to it is a 0.5 millimeter tan line, and all these should sit on the inside of this. So as long as you place it over top, you should be fine. Like I said, we're going to try it out here if it works. This is when we do our tests right here. Then we'll go with that route. And then your secondaries for the sides are just going to go right over top of the tan. Okay. Now, you can, if you don't like working with pieces this big, you can put clear over this and apply it that way. Although I'll tell you, the gray doesn't stick as much as the black does, and you could have a little bit of issues trying to get the gray to stick to here and get the clear off. You really have to roll it really tight and work at it. But try it out as one whole piece, see if that works for you. Like I said, it doesn't really stick too bad. You can always move it if you need to. But all I'm thinking of doing is just kind of keep it so it's all of the square patterns sit inside of the black. So we're just going to start down here at the bottom. I'm going to need some tweezers here. So as long as all these white little squares are inside the black, you're fine. You're exactly where it needs to be. Like I said, it's just it's a secondary pattern. There's no, you can't really go wrong with it. Okay, so I'm going to put this one on, or this one's on. I'm going to put the next one on and the next two, and then I'm going to mask this all off, and I'm going to go shoot the blue, and then we'll come back and I'll take everything off. Okay, we put a couple coats of the blue on here. Now we can pull this off and see how everything looks. Going to start with the back end of the nacelles where this little stripe piece goes. We're going to do the full size one first, and the only thing we've cut out of the clear is just the little notch here where the nav light goes. Now when I weeded the nacelles, I also weeded the lines off here, and that's going to help you line up top and bottom. So what we want to do is we want to start on the center line, and I can just faintly see my center line still. If you can't see it, if you've done a really good job hiding all that, maybe just put a pencil mark on either side and just kind of give yourself a center line, just so you've got this thing orientated right. But right on that nav light and center, and then just give that a rub, and then just back and forth, a little bit of pressure till we go all the way around. Now we worked with this to try and get this absolutely perfect, but the problem is if you get this thing on crooked, then this ends up being too short. So we've made it a little longer, so you can always either cut it back, but you'll see actually longer is not that bad of a deal. Just the other one will just overlap. I'm just going to start at the top. Pull it off. And then just smooth out any of the wrinkles that are on there. Okay. Now we're going to go to this top one here. Same one with the nav light on it. So now same thing, we cut out the nav light, and then you can line over top, and see when you take the lines off, you can actually line up the mask so that all these lines line up. Just get it as close to it as you can. You can probably overlap it a little bit. Problem is if you overlap it too much, you'll run out of room. But what we've done is we've got maybe 1/2 mil
little extra here that goes over top of that fin, but that's not a big deal. You're not painting that part of it anyway. Okay. All right. So you can see why when we removed those lines, it allowed us to actually line that up. Now the bottom one will start on the middle again, and we're just going to use the same method, trying to line up those lines. And once you got that done, then just run around to the bottom of that fin. Okay, so there's your tail section done. So now the next section we're going to do, our first pattern is on sheet 10. Now I've got these all weeded off. I'm just going to put the clear on it, and we'll come right back and we'll start laying that down on here. Now these are going to be a full wrap, almost like exactly like we did for the Into Darkness model. It just seems a lot easier, and it's just a pattern. It's not as if we actually have to keep a specific pattern on a specific area. So it just seemed a lot easier doing this than rather making 10 or 12 different pieces you had to put on here. But I'll get this all cleared up and we'll come back and we'll start wrapping that. Okay, we're going to start with this side here that has the little notch on it. So on the mask, right where this little area hit, right on this corner, that's where we're going to start the mask. I'm going to start right in there, and then kind of work our way to the back a bit, just so we're right up against the nacelle or the pylon, and then you can move this, rub this side in using your fingernail to get inside those little recesses, just so it seats right. And just line it up to the center. And then just back and forth. This should fall into place. Okay. Then this one can just go right around the edge. Kind of fit into place. Now we're trying to stick a flat mask onto a hull or a nacelle that's got a whole bunch of little recesses, and it's hard for it to conform to. So if you get a few wrinkles, don't worry, don't fret about it. It's just, we're just creating that first pattern. It's not really something that has to be that exact. So once you get all that in there, rub down. And we can go to the front and pull some of this clear off. So see, I created a big wrinkle in here, but that's okay. You just kind of lift this up and just kind of place it in where it fits. It's not a big deal. Okay. And slowly remove this towards the back, and then go back and rub all these things back into their little places. Take some more off. Repeat. And it should do this, so it's going right over the top of that stripe pattern we put in, so you don't have to mask anything there. Okay. if you're using the card after you've taken the clear off, just do it a little, don't be so hard with it, because you will cut through the vinyl. When the clear's on, it kind of protects it a little bit. Okay. Okay, so then the only other thing we got to do on this side is the front one, this front little piece right in here. That's when you just start on the top or the bottom, whichever way you want to go. You'll kind of see where it fits. Again, we're just creating a pattern. We're not creating actually a detailed line where this thing is going. It's just a pattern we're creating. So if you're off a little bit, not to worry about it. Once you get, you saw how light the tan paint is anyway, and once you put the blue over it, you'll be fine. Okay, I'll get the other side ready. So just one mention. So as you're painting, as we're going to be painting this, you might find, like right here, we've got a little white line showing. That's where you can use those little lines I've supplied you with the kit. You can actually just cover those up. You're going to have to cover this center section anyway. I didn't want to leave a piece of masking there. I needed to leave it cut, or I need to show the cut so you could actually see where you're positioning it. So those are just areas we're going to have to cover up with masking tape, but at least the pattern will be there. All right, I'll get the other side ready. Okay, so just like we did the back or the tail area here, we want to have the pattern show up, be a little consistent. So rather than starting this one at the front, let's start this one at the back of the pylon and just kind of eyeball where that pattern is. Just don't want to be like this. I mean, I guess you could be, but you might as well show some symmetry. So we're just going to tap this one along here and then run this along the pylon to the front. Okay, and then just kind of bring it down. Again, we're just creating a pattern, so don't worry about the wrinkles. It just was a lot easier to do it as one piece than to try and manipulate this into a bunch of pieces. So just remove some of it, and then you can start then you can start putting the mask back down. And here's one area here, so I'll have to put a little tape on that. Let's take this piece off. Okay, smooth everything down, and what we're going to do is we're going to go and grab the pylon patterns number 1. We might as well just shoot everything at once. It's just going to save us a lot of taping, and I'll come back with those pieces and we'll continue on. Okay, so the items you're going to have to weed for the pylons, inboard and outboard, are found on sheet 5. These will be the ones with the 2 will be for the inboard, and then the big ones will be for the outboard. The only thing we'll need to do is these little horizontal squares that are here, they're going to be found right here, and they're also going to be found on the other side of the cross member. These have to be painted yellow, so we're going to get all these masks on. We're going to be painting these yellow first, and then we'll just put on a piece of masking tape to cover that up. And then we'll shoot the whole nacelle and pylon the tan color. Alright, I'll get it clear on this and we'll come right back and we'll start putting these on. Okay, so we got the clear on these. We're going to do the outboard one first. That's this guy right here. And we'll start this at the back. Run it right along the bottom. And you can see how it just fits right in place. So we just rub it in, rub it down, get it. like I said, these are the two ones we're going to be painting yellow, kind of a yellowy orange color. I'll do that in a second here. Okay, let's do the back ones. Start in the same place. This is a little guy on the top. Okay, well, I'm going to get all this stuff taped off that we don't want to paint tan, which is pretty much everything that is not on that first stage pattern. I'm going to tape all that off, paint these yellow, and then I'll come back and just go over what we're doing here. All right, be right back. Okay, so I masked off all the nacelle, all the areas that I don't want to paint tan, and then what I did, like I said before, is I painted these two little rectangle areas at the very top. Those are in yellow. All the rest of this stuff will be the tan color, so I'm just going to take this tape. I'm just going to cover up these yellows so I don't get tan on them. And then we'll paint the rest of this all tan. And we'll come back and we'll take all the masking off. Okay, well, we gave the whole nacelle and the pylons, or the pylon, a coat of the tan, so we're going to take all this masking off. And I hope you like taping off all this because you get to do it again on the next step. Alright, here's our nacelle and our pylon with its first coat on. You can see the candy stripe, I guess, on the back. It's very light tan color. And your two yellow markers that are on there too. So, all right, well, let's get this all cleaned up, and I'm going to go and grab the secondary color, and we'll get that mask ready to put on. Okay, so we're going to start off with using sheet 12. This one we made in gray. You're not going to need the clear for this. It's going to be a little bit more finicky to lay down, but at least the black we use the clear, so everything is nice and straight, so we'll be able to utilize the pattern that we have from our first pattern to help out the second pattern. So what I did is I used the sheet here that I pulled the first pattern off of, and I just took the gray sheet and pulled it off, and all these little pieces stayed behind, and I laid it over top, and we got every one of them. So we're going to start on the side with the fin, or the tail fin, or whatever we're going to call that. And like before, this one doesn't tend to stick as much, and it's a little bit more pliable, so you can kind of lay it on and position it, and it's not, don't worry about, because you can always lift this up. But we're going to start in the same position. I'm going to kind of find that little area right here, right before the grill, or the grills, and that's kind of where we're going to start this, and we're going to kind of lay this in the same way. But it could take a little bit to get started, but that's all right. You can lift it up and put it down again until you get this thing right. And don't rub hard, because this doesn't have the clear on it, so we don't want to tear any of the mask before you actually get it applied. And being that it is rubber, again, don't pull on it, just kind of let it fall in place. Just be gentle with it and everything will be fine. Okay. And then I wouldn't bother doing putting your nail in these things until you know you've got everything positioned where you need it. So this way, if you need to realign something, you can just lift up the side. Realign it a little bit, put it back down. Plus, the other thing that this is nice with is this is a lot of mask going on top of all the area we just painted, so this is less likely to lift any paint up, where the black has got a lot of stick to it, but it's only the second pattern, so it's not really that critical. Okay, so like I said, I'm just grabbing into this. Just kind of jiggle it. You should get all the pieces to come off. Yep, we got them all. Okay, so we'll do the same on this side. Okay. Let's grab these front pieces again. And just like we did the black, those are going to start at the top. Okay, I'm going to go and grab the pylons, and I'll be right back. Okay, the pylons are found on sheet 14. I'm just going to see which ones we want here. This one right here. Okay, we just install these the same way we did the black again, starting at the back, running along the bottom. Nothing, there's no blue on the back. This just stayed the way it was. I noticed it just had the tan lines. There was no blue after where we've got blue, so I'm going to go ahead and mask all this off with masking tape, and then I'm going to shoot all this blue, and then we'll come back and take everything off. Okay, so our blue has been applied to everything, so we're going to start taking the masking off. All right, there you can see the pattern for the nacelle. And I think with that we're pretty much done this next video. So we did that, we did the top. We got lots completed. I think one more video and we should have this thing pretty much wrapped up. So thanks for sticking with us, and don't forget to post your progress photos on Aztec Masking Kit by MaskDesign. Let everyone else know what you're working on, and we'll see you then. Enjoy the build. Thanks.